I'd like to give all glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash, double honors to the elders and apostles that have taught this truth and continue to teach this truth. Shalom to you sincere Akim and you sincere sisters that are steadfast in this truth. Um, we're going to continue in our journey in, uh, in the books of Esther, chapters 3 through 9. We're starting to get into the meat and potatoes of this read. And so today we're going to focus on the book of Esther, chapter 7. And without any delay, let's hop right in. So the king and Haman came to the banquet with Esther the queen. And the king said again unto Esther on the second day at the banquet of wine, What is thy petition, Queen Esther? And it shall be granted thee. And what is thy request? And it shall be performed, even to the half of the kingdom. Then Esther the queen answered and said, If I have found favor in thy sight, O king, and if it please the king, let my life be given me at my petition, and my people at my request. For we were sold, I and my people, to be destroyed, to be slain, and to perish. But if we had been sold for bondmen and bondwomen, I had held my tongue, although the enemy could not countervail the king's damage. And so that last piece, um, countervail, just simply in the Hebrew, countervail means equivalent or equal, and then the king's damage um, uh, just simply means loss. Okay, okay, loss. King's damage. In other words, you know, um, he's going to lose something. And so, to put it all together, um, although the enemy could not countervail the king's damage, and so basically, it's saying that um, um, there's no amount of compensation that the enemy could could give on to the king for his losses. Okay, okay. There's nothing that could equate the value of what he's losing or what he has lost. Okay, so let's continue. We're going to reread that and then we'll continue down. For we, because this is the meat and potatoes right here. For we are sold, I and my people, to be destroyed, to be slain, and to perish. But if we had been sold for bond men and bond women, I had held my tongue, although the enemy could not countervail the king's damage. Then the king Ahasuerus answered and said unto Esther the queen, Who is he, and where is he, that durst presume in his heart to do so? And Esther said, The adversary and enemy is this wicked Haman. Then Haman was afraid before the king and the queen. And the king, arising from the banquet of wine, in his wrath went into the palace garden. And Haman stood up to make request for his life to Esther the queen, for he saw that there was evil determined against him by the king. Then the king returned out of the palace garden into the palace of the banquet of wine, and Haman was fallen upon the bed whereon Esther was. Then said the king, Will he force the queen also before me in the house? As the word went out of the king's mouth, they covered Haman's head. And Harbona, one of the chamberlains, said before the king, Behold, also the gallows 50 cubits high, which Haman had made for Mordecai, which had spoken good for the king, standeth in the house of Haman. Then the king said, Hang him thereon. So they hanged Haman and the gallows that he had prepared for Mordecai. Then the king's wrath was pacified. Mm, that chapter's straight to the point. But that's one point made, but we got some more. You know, we got some more meat and potatoes on here. Um, uh, it ain't finished, and so I'm gonna leave it right there. I'm not gonna say no more. See you in the next lesson, and thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for viewing this lesson. Shalom.